Welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. And today I have on the show Lacresha Simpson. And Lacresha is a transformational coach who helps women, but I'm sure the tips she's going to share today will help anyone shift their energy from defeated to empowered in their career. She started a department at the age of 23, developed a wellness business at age 26, and evolved into a professional speaker at age 29, and is now a published author at 31. Lacresha helps women identify their strengths and revolutionize their career that maximizes their talents and abilities. And she has worked with over 500 clients ranging from the age from 14 to 70. And today she's going to share with us how to have energy as an entrepreneur. So welcome to the show, Lacresha.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
You know, energy is something that every entrepreneur deals with. When you are balancing so many plates, and I mean, an entrepreneur balances a lot of plates, It is easy to get run down, especially when you add family, marriage, and kids on top of that, and the stress, because the stress really kind of takes a toll on your body as you're trying to build your business and make sure that you're bringing in, that money that you need, right? So I'm so glad to have you on here today to share some really great hints and tips with us. But first, I'd like the audience to get to know you a bit. So why don't you talk a bit about yourself and share your story with us?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years, even in a company setting. And I really started off as an intrapreneur, which is working in a company, starting off a new department. And from there, I quickly realized how much energy you need to start something from scratch. And that started my quest and my journey in really exploring what does it take to actually have energy? What does it mean to wake up ready to work on your mission, feeling energized, feeling motivated, which I think we often think about is not a reality on a day-to-day basis, but there are tangible tips and tools to get your mindset and your body and your spirit in the right place to actually be motivated and excited for the work that you're doing. And especially when you're dealing with stress of the different people coming to you, asking you tons of questions, whether it's clients or if you have employees who are trying to help you with different opportunities and you're just constantly juggling a lot of different plates. It's about sustaining your energy up while working on this big mission that you have.
Awesome. So did you kind of come across this because you found that you were lacking energy?
Yes. So I found that when I started working on this department, especially, I just felt constantly drained when I had so many people asking me questions, when I was dealing with so many different students at that time. And I quickly then jumped into fitness and realized how much that did help my energy. Then I decided to become an entrepreneur a few years later and realized that fitness alone wasn't going to help my energy levels, that my emotions were still all over the place, that I still had a lot of fear that I was dealing with, but I still had to make money and I still had to take action. And so I had to figure out how to curate my energy to be able to make moves, to be able to go out there and talk to different locations like banks and other community centers to engage clients, to be able to curate content online and be excited and motivated to help people make changes in their health. And then as an entrepreneur, again, I realized even more about how to curate energy as a professional speaker and motivating people. And so it led me on this journey of really checking out different tools and techniques. And I've tried different books to help me curate my energy on a daily basis. But the common theme that I noticed is that my energy could be curated and that I didn't have to wake up thinking my energy is going to be better. I actually had a system that worked. And when I followed the system consistently, my energy was consistently up. And so this is about being able to share what it means to have energy on a consistent basis rather than just hoping for energy when you wake up in the morning, because that's not a good feeling. You don't want to hope.
Well, and I think the other thing too is like, you know, even like sometimes you're dealing with physical conditions on top of that. So I think having a thing in place for energy, I mean, it's something that I've struggled with. Now, there are some medical reasons for why, but I have noticed that when I do certain things, I tend to have more energy than when I don't do certain things. So I think that's really important to recognize that you do have a say in how much energy that you have during the day, and that there are things that you can do to ensure that you have energy. So I'm really excited to hear what you have for us. So I'm going to let you loose for a few minutes, and because I know you've come with some really great tips and advice on how to have energy as an entrepreneur. And then we're going to talk about it a little bit, and then we're going to talk about your books. So Lacresha, I am setting you free to share with us about how to have energy as an entrepreneur.
So, in context, I have looked at other books and tested out different theories and practices on my own. But I realized that there's an actual system when you understand how the body works and the mind works as well. And so in my discovery, I realized how much emotions affect our energy levels. When we wake up feeling really stressed, anxious, angry, even maybe at a client, I've definitely been angry at clients, and it's caused my day to kind of be in a funny place. We often don't know how to release that so that we can move on to the next task that we're working on. So a lot of times people don't realize how much anxiousness is existing in their physical body. And in context, when it's in your physical body at this point, it's at the most extreme point of communication that you are really feeling overwhelmed and stressed, and you actually need to handle and deal with it. So by this point, the first thing that needs to happen is you need to tell your nervous system to calm down. So the first step is physical energy, dealing with your physical energy and allowing your nervous system to relax. It is feeling all over the place, right? Your back hurts sometimes, maybe your stomach is in knots, maybe you're sweating a lot. There's a lot of different symptoms that show up when your physical body is out of whack. Headaches, migraines, and that's all clear communication that you are not going to be able to focus on your work at hand. You're not going to be able to write the emails to your clients. You're not going to be able to really prospect out to people in a healthy way and showing up in your best self. So the simplest response to helping your physical energy improve is actually to breathe. And I know that sounds really simple, but your body actually responds very well to oxygen. Because what tends to happen when we are stressed? We stop breathing, we get into fight or flight mode, and we're focusing on pretty much nothing. We're focusing on how much we're in stress mode. We're not focusing on solutions. So we have to tell our body to relax, because what we found through history and through studies is that when your body is in fight or flight mode, your brain actually shuts down. And a lot of times when you're looking for solutions as an entrepreneur, trying to figure out how to actually identify new opportunities in the marketplace, you actually need to have your mind working to figure out those opportunities. But if your brain is shut down and your body is the only thing responding, it's very difficult to make the action steps. So the first place we do is we invite in oxygen into the body to help calm our nervous system down.
Yeah, because the oxygen actually transfers to your muscle groups so that you have that ability to either fight or flight. So it actually, and blood flow too, like blood flow, they've actually been able to measure it. And when you're in that response, the blood flow tends to come up into your major muscle groups. So it less here, less in your feet, which is really funny because you need your feet to flight. But they've actually been able to measure it. So by increasing that oxygen, taking those good deep breaths, you allow your system to calm down. And the other thing too is that you probably don't even realize it, but your heart's beating faster. And if you can get your heart to calm down, then the rest of your body calms down.
Right, exactly. And that's what we want. We want our body to be able to take that calm and relaxed state so that we can access our mind. Because when our mind is able to be active in a healthy way, it actually is able to find solutions. But at this point, if your physical body is off, it won't be able to. So I want to be clear about what emotions tend to show up when your physical body is really off kilter. If you're feeling depressed, like if you're feeling defeated and helpless about your business, that is a sign that you need to address it from this level first. When you're feeling when you feel like you want to just be on your couch or sleeping, those are signs. When you just don't feel like doing anything at all, you need to add in movement to help the oxygen return back to the body. So movement and oxygen are really important. The next level is your mental energy. And this is where a lot of people are stuck right now, because the fitness world has really taken a moment. I was in the fitness world for a long time, and it's really risen up to the occasion at helping us to not feel so helpless. We've added in movement into our daily practice. That's awesome. But a lot of people are dealing with anxiety, and that is the root of mental energy. What's happening at this level is your brain is in this hyperactive mode, and it can't seem to process all the information it's getting in a healthy and a quality way to help you actually identify solutions. So a lot of times when people are feeling anxious, they're constantly thinking about, well, what am I going to do? Well, what am I going to do? Or what am I going to do? Rather than thinking about, here's what I need to do. Here's where it is out there in the world. I need to get 5 more clients. Here are some ways I can get 5 more clients. But your brain is doing the opposite of that. So what we need to do is we need to let the ego shut down for a second, because it's usually very active and vocal, trying to go out there, and it's hoping that by being erratic and being crazy, it's hoping that it's going to something's just going to show up. But that's not how it works. You have to take some sort of action, but you have to know where to get the action from and not just kind of hope for the best, right? Like being an entrepreneur requires you to have some level of strategy. So to really elevate your mental energy, the focus is journaling. And I know that seems so simple, but we have to learn to clear out our mind, to let go of all of the egoic thoughts that are kicking in, that are thinking that they're doing something, but they're really not. Now, the mental energy is actually twofold. Journaling is one piece, but right after someone journals, they really need to focus on meditation. A lot of people try to jump into meditation and hope that they're just going to be able to settle in and feel really calm and at peace, but that's not what's going to happen.
And too much stuff still rattling around in there.
Running around in your brain, trying to figure out a solution, but it's in this erratic state. So by just clearing it out and letting that go and putting it somewhere tangible, which I think is really important. I think a lot of people try to talk themselves out of it, and it needs to be somewhere else besides in your own brain. So putting it somewhere tangible and then being able to meditate will help someone get to a state of calm. And the state of calm is a really good place to be, because then you can find solutions. So once you've dealt with your mental energy and you've been able to really relax your mind, you're now able to reconnect back to your vision as an entrepreneur. A lot of times we have all of this external information communicating to us about what we need to do when we already have the knowledge within us. Now, this leads us to the third energy level that we want to improve, and that is connecting with our spiritual energy, connecting with our purpose, what we're set out to do in the world. And many entrepreneurs from the very beginning, they know what they want to do, but then they go out there and they Google different opportunities, Google different marketing techniques, and now all of a sudden you've been cluttered with all this information. Your brain at some point starts to process this information, and now it's your opportunity to access that knowledge and really figure out what your next steps can be based on all the things that you already have.
Yes.
So rather than most people, when they're trying to figure out new strategies for their business or new opportunities or finding new clients, they go and they find more information. And that's what I did a lot as an entrepreneur, because I didn't really know that I had a lot of that knowledge already that I just had to put into a system and move forward with. But I had to access it, and not get clouded with more information. So going into your spiritual energy and elevating that is really about focusing on what do you already know and what can you use that can help you move forward. And that's really simple. It's really about reconnecting and saying, what is my vision again? What is it, the thing that I really love to do? What are the pieces that I'm really excited to move forward on? Is it writing a book? Is it going out there and speaking to another series of conferences to talk to more clients? That's reconnecting back to the root of who you are and your purpose in this world.
And I think one part that's really important is the fact that you have to get to the point where you take action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a great way to get rid of the downs, the outs, sometimes the anxiety, that's a little bit different because that's like based in fear, right? But when you're just feeling down and depressed and unmotivated and all this, when you take action and you see results,
Mm-hmm.
that is a great way to lift your mood. You know, you're down and depressed because things aren't going the way you want. Well, if you take enough action, you will see results, which will then make you feel better, right? So, you know, I think all those things that you talked about are really important. And, you know, like one thing that I tend to do, like I'm up, you know, usually up working 5-6 o'clock in the morning because that's just my best time of day to do things.
Mm-hmm.
But I find like by 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon, I've already worked 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually have other things I still have to do. So, you know, for me, I don't tend to take a shower in the morning because I'm very bright in the morning. I do not need a lot to get up and get motivated and get moving.
Mm-hmm.
But by mid-afternoon, I need something. And I do admit I do have the occasional cup of coffee in the afternoon. But a lot of times what I do is I go have a shower. And I find showers not only reinvigorate me physically, but mentally as well. Because when I'm in the shower, I'm relaxing, right? I'm just kind of letting the thoughts flow and that. And I find my creativity goes up after I've had a shower. When I've let that, you know, the water and you're just relaxing and you're enjoying it. And so I actually recommend for creative people, you know, to take longer showers because it does stimulate the creative process. Like my book 31 Productivity Hacks, I talk about taking longer showers or not. So if you're creative, you take longer showers. If you're not creative, take shorter showers because you're just wasting your time.
And I think the key to this is, as you're saying, there's a lot of different ways that you can navigate this. The funny thing is you are following all 3 steps. You're just doing it in a space where it feels easy to you. And I think that's the most important thing is whatever levels you're doing it in the easiest way possible for you to implement into your day-to-day practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's about finding what works for you, right? So, you know, just because something works for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. But as you try different things, you find those keys that work for the best for you. And then, you know, then you can implement that into your system. So, good stuff. All right. Now, you are an author, and I want to hear about your book. So tell us a little bit about your book.
Yes. So Self-Care Hustle is how to have more energy to pursue your career vision or life purpose. Is really written for people who are looking to take a next step in their career, but they're stuck. And I wrote this book because I have a lot of people who come to me who are feeling very resentful about their careers. They're feeling very stuck. They feel very defeated. They're not sure where to take the next step towards. And their energy is too drained to take that next direction. And I actually hit that point for myself as a personal trainer where I knew personal training wasn't for me anymore. And I wanted to take a step in another direction, but I didn't know what direction to take or what was going on. And I constantly felt energy drained. Like I woke up not feeling good. I woke up feeling very depressed. And I had to figure out how to curate my energy to get it to a place where I can go and explore what I actually wanted to do. So this book is really written to help people identify what they need to set up in their day to go through the process of implementing their new lifestyle, implementing their new career vision and their new plan. And so I talk about energy and how to curate it to help you get to a place where you can start to do that discovery work. I talk about what it means to set up, what it means to have energy through the emotions. Like, how does emotions affect people's ability to take steps forward? Like someone like you found your career purpose. It's easy to wake up. Your emotions and your energy levels about it are in a place where you feel optimism and you feel really joyful doing this work. But a lot of people that I meet are all the way on the bottom of the totem pole. They feel horrible about the work that they're doing. They feel defeated and deflated, and it's getting them to a place where they at least can feel okay to take action steps. And I think a lot of people really feel like I should feel energized enough to take action steps, but it's a process and a journey to get to a place where you can take action. And I want to open up the door to say that you don't have to, it's okay that you feel terrible. We have to get you out of that terrible place so that you can take action in a way that makes sense for what you're looking to go for. So Self-Care Hustle is that discovery process of pursuing your career vision and what it means to have energy through that journey.
Awesome. So what was the hardest part for you about writing this book?
So as you can probably tell, I'm filled with ideas. And I think the best blessing is to be able to write, but the hardest thing is always identifying what to talk about first in each section, what matters developmentally to set the book up in a way that helps people to take action at each level.
Yes.
And so I just want to make sure that people understand that there is a step-by-step process. I think that's really important for me because I found that a lot of things in the world, when it comes to becoming an entrepreneur or an author, it can seem very scattered in terms of what you should be doing next.
Yes.
And by creating step-by-step processes, it helps the person who never thought that they could be in that boat or get that opportunity see that if you follow certain steps, you can actually make it to the other side. And so my journey has been, what do those steps really look like developmentally? What do they need to understand step by step to make sure that they can go through this process and come out on the other side pursuing what they've wanted to pursue?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you've written this book, it's all published. What have been some of the results that you've seen in your life and in your business after writing this book?
So what I've seen is people reaching out to me saying, finally. I'm one of those people that I've been a B student my whole life. And I feel like I've been an average person my whole life. And then there's been these sparks of opportunities where I've become like top notch in some category, whether it's an athlete or even a student in school, or even in my career field being the top in my, in a company or whatever the case may be. And I realized that there were people out there that felt like they didn't want to be average anymore. They wanted to be exceptional, but they didn't have this like prepackaged like belief system or like a prepackaged information on how to be an A person in whatever part of their life. And so I found that people came to me thanking me for finally creating steps to getting to an A level, that they don't have to be stuck being average anymore. And that's been something I've been passionate about for years, especially when I worked with low income students. I always said to myself, they're low income, but they can be A, right? But I have to create more systems to get them there. Or when I have clients who come to me who are like, well, I know nothing about sales. I know nothing about marketing. I don't know nothing about any of this. And I'm saying, here's a way to get to A. Like, it's just about following steps. And a lot of times people at the top forget to outline a few more steps for the rest of us who don't understand. And so, the goal of this book was to create those few extra steps that are often missing in the conversation about energy so that the rest of us can join the party at the A level. And so it's been really great to see that people can really take those extra steps and they can still make it. It just takes a little bit longer for us, but we can make it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I think you shared some really great information with us today. What would you say would be one step that somebody could do right now to get started to have more energy?
The simplest one is take a walk. I know we underestimate it a lot, but taking a walk and being able to intentionally breathe through that walk is the best thing that someone can do. And
Cool.
by just being able to take those 5 deep breaths, they'll get to a place where they'll really feel calm enough to really deal with what's going on in their mind in a better way and not feel so anxious.
Cool. Awesome. So, Lacresha, how can people connect with you?
Well, of course, you can shoot me a DM on Instagram at the Lala Simpson. I love connecting with people there and sharing more information about what it means to have more energy for your career.
Okay, so can you spell that out for us?
The Lala Simpson, THE Lala LALA Simpson, SIM as in mother, PSON as in Nancy.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. It has been such a pleasure having this conversation with you and learning more about how to have energy during the day. So this has been Lacresha Simpson and Kim Thompson-Pinder on the Author to Authority podcast, and we will see you on the very next show. Bye now.